And we're back. It is 6:30. I'm James Spann. Right as we went off the 6 o'clock news, the Weather Service in Birmingham posting a tornado warning for parts of extreme southern Marion, extreme northern Fayette, and extreme northeastern Lamar County. Let's take a closer look at that. We saw that hook echo that started to show up on the Columbus Air Force Base radar, and you can see the hook, which is located right here near Beaverton. That's along U.S. Highway 278, and the tornado is moving towards the east. That's the net motion here. So some of the communities involved in this would be Cullman and Winfield in southern Marion County. This does not include Hamilton. It does not include most of Marion County. This is the far southern part of the county. And again, you're seeing the approximate arrival times up on your screen of some of the communities in the path of this particular tornado indication on radar. And again, don't take it down to the second here. Understand, if you're in the polygon, you need to respect it and get into a safe place. So again, this is the first tornado warning of the evening. This is for extreme southern Marion, extreme northern Fayette, and the northeastern corner of Lamar County. The possibility of a tornado existing near Beaverton. The hook echo is located right there. And again, that's going to be moving pretty much right down U.S. Highway 278 over here toward Cullman, and then possibly passing just north of the city of Winfield. Velocities are not as impressive as we have seen with some tornado indications, but again, based on the atmospheric conditions, based on the history of this over the past few minutes, there's no doubt the right thing to do is to go to a safe place. So if you are in this polygon, we want you to do several things. Number one, if you're in a site-built home, get into a small room on the lowest floor near the center, away from windows. We want you in your safe place wearing a helmet if you have one, a bicycle helmet, a batting helmet if your kids play sports, and that's for adults and kids. And we like for people, if they do have that in their safe place, to keep a little portable air horn with you and hard-sole shoes in case you have to walk over a tornado debris field. That's what you do in your safe place until the storm passes. We give you an all clear. We don't want anybody in a mobile home. If you live in a manufactured home in any of these communities we've called out, Cullman, Winfield, back over toward Glen Allen, you need to be out of a mobile home and into a community shelter or some 24-hour business that's open that would let you in. You can't be in a mobile home during a tornado warning like this, and obviously nobody should be driving. We do have one interstate highway that's in the polygon here. This is Interstate 22, that segment of Interstate 22 from the Walker-Marion County line up to about Yampertown, which is the Cullman exit right up here around the community of Twin. So again, nobody should be driving along Interstate 22 or the old U.S. Highway 78, Alabama 5, Winfield, Cullman. Again, the best thing to do if you're driving and hearing us, our voice on the radio, is just simply stop, get off at a business, a convenience store, a gas station, go inside and take shelter there until the storm passes. So if you're just joining us here, we apologize. Wheel of Fortune would typically be on. We have a tornado warning in effect now for parts of northwest Alabama. We talked about that kind of being the focus here. And you can see that possible tornado is near Beaverton, just southeast of Beaverton. This is in the northeastern corner of Lamar County. It'll be crossing the county line. This is the line. This is Lamar County. This is Marion County. Cullman here. Winfield here. Cullman is located right here. And again, based on the current motion, the greatest probability of a tornado would be a little south of Cullman, moving pretty much in the general direction of Winfield. So this is a situation you want to take seriously. We've had no reports of any damage. And Taylor, let me confirm with you, we've had no damage so far, right?
So far, they've been monitoring CC. It's kind of noisy on the CC right now, so it's kind of hard to pick up anything. But so far, we do not have any confirmed damage reports with this circulation.
And by CC, Taylor's talking about correlation coefficient. That's the debris signature that we often see. When debris is being lofted, we can see that. We're not seeing a lowering at this moment. But also for Dennis Martin back in the back, if you can get us on Facebook Live, that would be very helpful as well. So again, this is the approximate motion here, and you can see Taylor will put a storm track on this, and these are the arrival times, the approximate arrival times of a tornado. We've got Winfield showing up here at 6:43. It is currently 6:34. So you've got under 10 minutes to go to a safe place. Glen Allen at 6:49. Eldridge and Walker County, if this continues into Walker County. Walker County is not under a warning at this point, but if it continues, Eldridge at 6:59 around 7 o'clock this evening, Dogtown at 7:03. So we've got a possible tornado that is sitting basically at the triple point here. This is where Lamar, Marion, and Fayette counties all come together. And again, we stress this will not affect the city of Fayette. This is far north of you. This will not affect the city of Hamilton. This is far south of you. This is pretty much on the Highway 278 corridor right now. And again, there's the potential tornado that's going to be passing south of you. And still, you are in the polygon. And you know the deal. If you're in the polygon, you respect it and you get into your safe place. And again, that possible tornado is going to come right out here toward the community of Winfield. So most likely your tornado stays south of downtown Ewan, and it will be very close to Winfield here in probably less than 10 minutes. The motion, Taylor, is for about 45, 50 miles per hour with this.
East at 45 miles per hour. So we are tracking that towards the east. I'll do another storm track here for you too as well, just to get some updated timing.
Okay, great. And again, we're watching the various chat sessions from the Weather Service offices in Memphis and Jackson and Birmingham, and we're not quite seeing any reports as of yet, but understand this has been over a fairly sparsely populated area. So again, we have a tornadic circulation that is currently sitting at the point where Lamar, Marion, and Fayette counties all come together, and you can see that that's going to be moving pretty much a little north of due east, moving in the general direction of Winfield. And again, the tornadic circulation most likely will pass south of the city of Ewan, coming across Winfield in about 8-9 minutes from now, and then moving on into the far southeastern part of Marion County. Hubbardville is down here. Hubbardville, you're not in the polygon. Most of Fayette County is not. This is the extreme northern part of Fayette County. I'd say within 2 miles of the Marion County border, and that's about it. And again, most of Marion County is not in this. This is just for a small strip here of southern Marion, northern Fayette counties, and that's the way that these polygons are meant to work. You don't need to alarm an entire county for a small tornado. You want to alarm the people in the path of the tornado, and that's the situation. So again, there's your hook echo right there. And again, that's moving about like this, due east, maybe a little north of due east. So again, Winfield is the next sizable community in the path of this. This is US 43 right here, coming north out of Fayette, moving up toward Ewan. And again, the hook echo is going to pass south of Ewan. But understand we say Ewan. Many people have mailing addresses that say Ewan, and you might be 5, 6, 7 miles south of downtown Ewan. That's where this thing basically is right now. The tornado threat is approximately 4 miles south of downtown Ewan, moving east, maybe a little north of due east over here toward Winfield. This is part of a line of storms, and we can focus on this storm because we have no other tornado warnings in the state. In fact, no other warnings of any type. This is the only warning in the state of Alabama. There is a tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight for much of north and west Alabama, but this is the only warning in effect here, so we can certainly focus on that this evening. So again, if you're just joining us, we apologize. Typically, Wheel of Fortune would be on the air, but we have a tornado warning, and because of that, we have to stay with this until the signature goes away or the danger is over. Possible tornadic circulation, again, is crossing about 4 miles south of Ewan, and that will be crossing near or maybe just north of Winfield. And again, don't play games with this. If you're in this polygon, you need to be in a safe place. You don't need to be driving. You need to be out of a mobile home. And as soon as the storms pass, we can give you an all clear. This is Interstate 22, by the way, right here. So again, from the Walker-Marion County line up to the almost to the Ewan exit, the Yampertown Twin exit up here, we advise people just to pull off as best you can and stop and just get a sandwich or go into a restaurant or something like that. At the Winfield exit, which is right here, there's some restaurants and hotels, and you can stop right here. But we advise no travel along Interstate 22 from that Marion County line back up to the Ewan-Yampertown Twin exit right there. And this is the old U.S. Highway 78 right here, Alabama Highway 5. And again, that's running from near Eldridge over to Winfield, same thing. Nobody should be driving in the polygon. That's the bottom line. So the possibility of a tornado that's moving a little north of due east is going to take it awfully close to Winfield here in about 6-7 minutes, and that will continue moving pretty rapidly. And if this motion continues, we'll have to watch for parts of Walker and Winston counties. This is Winston County, Natural Bridge is here. This is Walker County. There's Lynn right here in Winston County. So again, just kind of a heads up if you're in Eldridge or Carbon Hill or Lynn or Nauvoo, any of these places up and through here, just watch this. You're not under a warning right now, but if the trend continues, you might be at some point. So we've got a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for Lamar County. This is not a tornado warning. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. So most likely there is a pretty good hail core with this storm we're starting to see right in through here. So there could be some large hail falling. That's another threat this evening. So the warning will pop up here in just a second. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. There's the warning in effect for Lamar County until 7:15. So again, severe thunderstorm warning in effect here for Lamar County, and again, there's that hail core just across the state line near Caledonia, Mississippi, that will be crossing over. So just be aware that we could see large hail falling. This is Vernon right here. That's Alabama Highway 17. Sulligent here. You've got Millport and Kennedy down to the south. But let's go back to our hook and the tornado warning. So again, for southern Lamar, that's a severe thunderstorm warning. For extreme southern Marion, extreme northern Fayette, we've got a tornado warning. Now, the tornado warning has been canceled for Lamar because the signature is out of Lamar County. But again, there's your possible tornadic circulation right here. This is Guin, this is Guin, and again, that tornadic circulation just south of Guin, and again, that's headed in the general direction of Winfield. So again, the call to action, as we've been talking about here for the past 10 minutes, it's for those of you in anywhere in the polygon to be sheltered, especially those of you in Winfield. And again, we've not seen debris being lofted, Taylor, so far.
So far,
it's been noisy.
Yeah, it's very noisy with the correlation coefficient there, so it's been hard to detect a signature that would indicate any debris, but we're watching that carefully. I'm watching every scan to see if anything shows up.
Okay. And again, Dennis back at the back, if you guys could get us on Facebook, that would be much, much, much appreciated here. So again, we've got a tornado warning that is in effect for southern Marion, northern Fayette counties. The warning for Lamar, the tornado warning, has been canceled. We have a potential tornadic circulation that's about 4 miles west of Winfield, about 4 to 5 miles south of Guin, that's moving a little north of due east. And on that track, the tornadic circulation will be pretty close to the city of Winfield. Downtown Winfield is here. The high school is here. The Baptist church is right here. Again, that's when, in fact, we'll zoom in closer and kind of get a little closer. We'll leave the hook in the shot. And again, you can see the streets in Winfield. That's the possible tornadic circulation right there. And again, US 43 is right here. That's the road from Winfield back over to Guin and Guin. And again, that tornadic circulation will ultimately be crossing over Highway 129, which is the Interstate 22 Winfield exit right here. So everybody needs to be sheltered that is in the community of Winfield for this potential tornado that is about to come up on the town as we speak right now. We have had no reports of confirmed damage, but understand this is a tornadic circulation that has been over a sparsely populated area, and we often don't get reports where you don't have a lot of people there. So just understand that this is a dangerous storm, and again, this is a warning that needs to be respected. All tornado warnings do, but certainly in this case, it's in a very favorable position for this kind of thing to happen with the quality of the instability we have today, the amount of shear, and there's probably a surface boundary in through here separating rain-cooled air earlier today from the warm air we had down here. Some spots saw low 80s in West Alabama today, and this could be riding along that boundary. So again, County Road 69 is right here. That's the tornadic circulation you see right here. This is downtown Winfield, and again, that circulation is going to be basically in the middle of town here in a matter of a minute or so. You're basically out of time if you're in Winfield. And again, we don't want anybody driving in the city of Winfield. Everybody should be sheltered. Nobody should be in a mobile home. If you're in a home and if you're new to this, there's no need to be alarmed, but you do need to be on the lowest floor of your house. If you have a site-built house, a small room like a bathroom, hallway, or closet near the center. You don't have to be underground, just first floor. And we want you, if you can, to have a helmet on, a bicycle helmet, a batting helmet, anything like that, a motorcycle helmet, because most people that do have serious injuries in tornadoes, it's typically related to blunt force trauma to the head, skull, and neck region. That's the reason helmets are very important. So again, the Weather Service continues a tornado warning, and the warning will continue until 7:15 this evening. And again, this tornado signature is going to be out of the polygon by then. We'll see if it's extended into parts of Walker or Winston counties. But again, right now there's the new update, and basically the circulation is on top of downtown Winfield. And we will know pretty quickly if there's anything going on there, and that's obviously a pretty big population center in southern Marion County. So potential for a tornado right now in downtown Winfield or close to downtown Winfield. And again, that's going to keep on moving to the east. So and let me just say, if you're in the town of Guin, we'll give you an all clear from this. The risk of a tornado is ended for you. If you're in the town of Guin, which is between Winfield and Guin. The risk of a tornado is ended for you. So an all clear for Guin and Guin. The tornado is near Winfield, continuing to move on to the east. And I can pretty much give an all clear to northern Fayette County. I know that technically extreme northern Fayette County is in the polygon here, but it's pretty clear that the tornadic circulation is going to stay just across the line in Marion County. And again, Winfield kind of straddles the line. My hand is on the line right here. This is Marion County and this is Fayette County. And again, that potential tornado is going to be crossing over State Route 129, which again runs from the Winfield exit down to Old U.S. Highway 78. And then ultimately, this thing could be crossing Interstate 22, the highway, obviously an interstate highway in northwest Alabama, somewhere between the Walker-Marion County line and that Winfield exit. So that's the reason we're encouraging people not to be traveling. The worst place to be during a tornado is in a car. And if you're listening to us by radio, you just need to stop at the next exit, get into a gas station, restaurant, convenience store, any place like that. That offers better protection than a vehicle. You do not want to be in a car for a situation like this. So if you're just joining us, we have a possible tornado right at Winfield in Marion County in northwest Alabama. The polygon is in flashing red. Notice Brilliant here is not in the polygon. You're north of it. Hamilton is not. And again, for Guin and Guin, the danger is ended. That possible tornado continues moving to the east. And again, it looks like the circulation is now just east of Winfield. And if there's any northerly component of motion, it's not that great. This thing is basically moving due east as we see it at this point. So again, we are in a situation where we've got one warning in the entire state. We have no other warnings in terms of tornado warnings. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Lamar for the possibility of large hail. But again, when it comes to tornadoes, this is it. Now, this is Walker County and this is Winston County. This is Highway 5. This is Lynn. This is Alabama Highway 13 coming down through Eldridge right here. Again, that's Interstate 22. That's Old U.S. Highway 78 right here. And again, the Weather Service will consider extending this into western Walker County here pretty soon. They might do that, but we have a report that power flashes have been seen in south of Guin and south of Interstate 22. Power flashes would suggest that a tornado is down, producing damage. So again, that was seen by some folks along Interstate 22 or first responders. I think this came in from law enforcement. And again, one of the problems we have is the fact that this is now obviously at night. We have no daylight. We can't show you this kind of thing. But understand that there's a real chance there's a tornado down here just east of Winfield. So again, the warning continues until 7:15 for extreme southern Marion County. And again, you can see that this very small polygon right now. And again, technically, northern Fayette is in this. Glen Allen kind of sits on the line right here, but everybody along Alabama Highway 118, that's the old US 78 I keep talking about. Alabama 118, Interstate 22 should be off the road, and everybody else should be sheltered. If you're in Winfield, give us about 5 minutes, and the circulation will be a little east of there. We can pretty much give you an all clear. I'm not ready to do that yet, but again, there's your hook echo right here. It's well to the east of Winfield now. And again, it's crossed over Highway 129. This is the Winfield exit that runs down into Winfield off Interstate 22. And again, that'll be crossing over Interstate 22, probably near or maybe just west of the Walker-Marion County line. So the tornado warning continues for a small part of southeastern Marion and extreme northern Fayette. And again, it's pretty clear that this tornadic signature will stay just out of Fayette County, just north of Fayette County. But technically, the polygon warning is still in effect there. No reports of any damage so far.
We are starting to get some reports, and
okay.
Nothing confirmed, no specifics yet, but EMA is relaying that there are damage reports coming in from near Winfield.
Okay. And again, we don't have specifics, but again, this is from John DeBlock. John is down at the Weather Service, and he indicates that damage reports are coming in from near Winfield. No specifics as of yet. They'll relay that once they hear. So again, we are strapped in here for what could be a long night. The storms up until now were fairly well behaved, but we knew that conditions still favored tornadoes, a few tornadoes tonight, and strong winds, and unfortunately the forecast has verified here. So again, let's go back to the reflectivity. I think in this case, the reflectivity probably shows it better. For Winfield, we'll give you an all clear now in terms of the danger from this tornadic thunderstorm. It's still raining heavily in Winfield and the weather's not good, but in terms of the tornado danger, that circulation is well east of Winfield right now. So if you're in Winfield, we'll give you an all clear. This is correlation coefficient. We're starting to see maybe some evidence of a lowering of the CC product here, which can oftentimes mean debris being lofted. We can't guarantee that's the case. You want to see some consistency in volume scans here, but we might have some debris that's been lofted by this. And again, we're getting some reports of damage back in Winfield, and if we get specifics on that, we'll certainly pass that on. But again, the possible tornado is now just north of Alabama Highway 118, and again, that will be moving across Interstate 22 in a matter of minutes. So again, the urgent call here is for people not to be on Interstate 22. Now, here's where you can help us. You can be a hero in this process. We can reach a limited number of people, but you know people that might be driving along Interstate 22, maybe a friend or a loved one or a neighbor. And if you know anybody that's out here, you need to call them and tell them what we're saying. They don't need to be on Interstate 22 right now in this far eastern part of Marion County, and you can help us reach them in the car. They obviously can't watch us on television. They might hear us on the radio or through a digital stream or something like that, but you can be a hero. And again, through the course of the night tonight, if you know anybody in any of these communities that we call out, like Winfield earlier, if you can call them and let them know what we're saying and just tell them to turn on the television and watch, that will be of great help. I think the public is probably our greatest underused resource when it comes to severe weather coverage, and you can be a help. You can literally be a hero on a night like tonight. So if you're just joining us, we have a tornadic circulation now that is about 8 miles east of Winfield that is approaching Interstate 22. This is in the far southeastern part of Marion County, and we've had some reports of damage near Winfield. The velocity is looking weaker. But again, we're seeing a possible TDS, a tornado debris signature here. So the best case scenario is that maybe we're getting some weakening here, and we're getting an occlusion process or something where the tornado is going to cycle away for a while. We hope that's the case. The velocity certainly does not look that impressive, Taylor. I mean, I'm not seeing much at all. But we have seen evidence of a lowering of the correlation coefficient, which means there could be some debris being lofted from a tornado down earlier. And if this is the case, the Weather Service, if this weakening continues, they'll probably not pull the trigger on Walker County in terms of a new warning. One of the things we are trying so hard to do in the Weather Office is to reduce the number of false alarms, the false alarm ratio. You don't want to be crying wolf every time you see a little rotation on radar or whatever. We've got to cut those things out. And the Weather Service in Birmingham has done a masterful job at that in the last 10 years. And again, they're not going to issue a warning when there's no tornado there. So hopefully with the weakening continuing, we'll be able to watch this warning expire and not be extended. I should mention in the other box, we've got our Wyndham Springs Skycam. That's on a 2,000-foot tower in North Tuscaloosa County looking up into these things. Now, we're not going to be able to see a tornado from the camera. It's a little too far away, but you can see that almost nonstop lightning from Wyndham Springs there. And again, I know a lot of you don't like the double box, and I promise we'll come right back to full screen here in just a second. We should mention there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for the southern part of Lamar County. This is for the possibility of large hail that would be in the storm that's located near Vernon. So again, for those of you in southern Lamar, large hail a possibility. Again, this is the hail detector. You can see evidence of that around the community of Vernon. This might be over 1 inch in diameter. So that's the reason for the severe thunderstorm warning there. Let's go back to our tornado warning. Let's go full screen for a minute if we can. Thank you. This is, again, that's what's still there, that hook which is here. Let's look at our velocity product, and we'll see what that looks like. And again, the velocities have clearly come way down on this. So I would imagine that the Weather Service will choose not to extend the tornado warning into Walker. Again, this is Walker, this is Winston, and this has been basically moving almost due east, maybe a little north of due east. And on that track, the circulation is going to come into Walker County. This is Eldridge, that's Alabama Highway 13 right here, and that's Interstate 22. And again, this is what we're still watching right here. And again, you can see that it might be crossing over Interstate 22 near the Marion Walker County line. But thankfully, the velocities have come way down on that product. So again, we are now at 6:54. This warning is technically until 7:15. And I would imagine what the Weather Service is going to do is to maintain the warning until it gets out of the county, and then we'll just see if it cycles again. And again, you see some lowering of the correlation coefficient in here, which could be some debris that is being lofted. Is this Birmingham or Columbus?
This is Columbus.
Okay, this is coming from Columbus Air Force Base, and again, right around here we get about the same altitude of the radar beam from both Columbus and from Birmingham, but again, this could be some debris being lofted from possible damage back around Winfield.
So somebody is just reporting from the fire department that they have had visual confirmation of a tornado south of I-22 at exit 34.
Okay, and again, this is from first responders, and we're all on a chat session with the Weather Service, so certainly with that report, again, this is a report of a cone tornado just south of Interstate 22 at exit 34 with multiple power flashes. And exactly when that was observed, I don't have the time on that, but again, that's a sign that this is a dangerous storm. So again, that's debris that is being lofted from a tornado that is either down now or it was down before, and it looks like the lowering is getting more well-defined.
It does,
from this. And again, right here, this is the possible tornado. This is old U.S. Highway 78, Alabama 118. This is Interstate 22. It's between those two highways. And again, that's going to be crossing, if it's still there, Interstate 22 in a matter of minutes near the Walker-Marion County line. And again, the velocities are awfully fuzzy here. And again, this would be the spot right in through here. It's getting close to the county line. This is Walker, this is Marion. Now this is Lynn in Winston County. This is Eldridge in Walker County. Carbon Hill is pretty much right behind my backside back here. But we're watching that lowering right in through here would represent some debris that's being lofted. So we'll see if that signature continues and what the Weather Service is going to do here in just a matter of moments. It is 6:56, and you didn't get to watch Wheel of Fortune. I am sorry, but we got to take care of business. You can watch it. You can watch that later. So we're looking at different radars, different velocity products, and again, the velocities don't look that impressive, but yet we're still seeing evidence of debris being lofted, maybe from an earlier tornado. So we'll watch the trends here in the next couple of volume scans, and we'll see if the Weather Service decides to extend this on out. Let's quickly look at the big picture, Taylor. Just wanted to show what the whole situation looks like this evening. We've got 15,000 people down here at Cullman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa for the Alabama-Tennessee basketball game tonight. We're going to have to watch any storms that form west of Tuscaloosa that come in there. We'll keep a close eye on that for everybody there and everybody else that lives in the city of Tuscaloosa. Of course, Birmingham, it's going to be after probably 8 o'clock before the storms arrive in Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, and Gadsden. The line stretches from near Madison down to the far western shore of Smith Lake down to about Vernon. Again, large hail is falling most likely around Vernon in Lamar County. The tornado warning, as you can see, is right here. Tornado warning is about 65 miles northwest of downtown Birmingham. For Birmingham, the worst of the weather should be after 8 o'clock, the same for Tuscaloosa. So again, Anniston, Gadsden, your activity comes later tonight, probably after 9 o'clock. So let's go back into our tornado warning, and we'll see how the Weather Service will handle this. And I wish I could show you images of this. It is night and it is almost impossible to do. If there's a tornado here, it's wrapped in rain. It's dark, you just can't see it. We know from social science studies that people respond better when they can see a tornado, a live video feed. But a lot of times in this state, you just can't do that. So you'll have to just trust me with radar for this segment here. Again, this is the notch, and this is, if it's still there, it's going to be right in through here. It's basically on the county line. This is Marion County. This is Walker County. This is Fayette down here. And we'll see if that thing just kind of holds in place. It's still staying south of Interstate 22 if it's still there. Let's go back to the velocity real quick, and you'll see the velocity is just as noisy as could be. There's nothing impressive there at all. That's not a tornado signature. And let's go to the correlation coefficient product, the debris tracker. And again, you can still see that lowered CC, which means there's some debris. Now, this could be from an earlier tornado that's still being lofted to 10, 15,000 feet that came over Winfield. We have reason to believe a tornado came through the heart of Winfield, if not maybe the heart, maybe just north of downtown. And that could be some of the damage from Winfield that's evident now on radar that's being lofted here, that's seen near the community of Texas, which is in the far southeastern corner of Marion County. But again, if you go back to that velocity product, it's awfully noisy in through here, so it could be the tornado is dissipated, the debris is still in the loft from the earlier tornado. The signature is just simply not right there. And again, in just a second, we're going to get a decision from the Weather Service in Birmingham on what they're going to do. We are getting reports now from Marion County EMA of trees down and structural damage in Winfield from a possible tornado. And we all saw what happened. Beyond that, we don't have any other specifics. So reports of trees down and structural damage in the community of Winfield in southern Marion County from a tornado that apparently came through about 10 minutes or so ago. And again, as soon as our crews get there, we'll get the video to you as soon as it's safe for them to do that. But we don't know the extent of the damage in Winfield. I don't know at this point. But again, in a second, I'm going to let Taylor take it, and I'm going to look through some of the images. And people are so kind to send photographs to me in the video. It's very helpful. You become our eyes and ears, those of you that are with us, and I thank you so much for that. But again, Taylor, let me let you take it for a minute. It looks like that circulation has crossed over now into Walker.
It does. So it looks like the circulation is pretty close to Eldridge. It's going to be moving over I-22 in northwestern Walker County here pretty soon. Still have not got a decision yet from the National Weather Service whether or not they're going to extend it. And it looks like they have just extended it as a severe thunderstorm warning. If I'm reading this correctly. So far I have not seen an extension of the tornado warning, but just know if you are in parts of northwestern Walker County, there is the possibility you're going to be dealing with some very strong winds. At this point, it's really hard to pick anything out in terms of the velocity, and we're looking from the Columbus radar here. I did want to just show you what's going on. Actually, it was extended into this severe thunderstorm warning was just extended into Fayette. That's because of strong winds and also some hail. So we're still waiting on a decision here from the National Weather Service in Birmingham on whether or not they are choosing to extend this tornado warning. I'm going to check the correlation coefficient. This color here is not quite as bright as it was before, but it's still kind of tracking right along I-22, but because we aren't seeing that lowering of the CC, the really bright colors, that's kind of telling me that there might not be a tornado on the ground at this point. But we've got the tornado warning. We're going to treat this as a possible tornado on the ground. Looking at the reflectivity. Okay, here we go.
Let me just say real quick, Taylor, didn't mean to interrupt. There's clearly been tornado damage in Winfield.
Okay.
I will tell you that we have damaged store buildings in downtown Winfield. We have reports of at least one person trapped in a car, possibly other people trapped in cars. The trees have come down across the railroad tracks that run through the heart of town, and a number of businesses have been hit in Winfield. I'm not going to get specific here, but I will tell you that apparently downtown Winfield did take a direct hit from a tornado about 15-20 minutes ago. Okay, so that's the situation, and I don't have any more specifics. I don't know if anybody has been injured, but that has been confirmed by Marion County Emergency Management Agency. So as you pointed out, the warning has been replaced, the tornado warning has been replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. Taylor, I'll let you pick it back up for a couple of minutes here, and I'll be back with hopefully some images here.
Okay, so fortunately that storm that we were watching that was tornado warned is looking like it's weakening a bit. So the National Weather Service is saying that's weakened for the time being. Now our focus shifts to this storm a little bit farther southward, and you see the bright pinks there. That's indicating the possibility of some very large hail with this storm as it moves through. I'm going to show you the hail product here, and that kind of gives us an idea on where some of that hail could be. It's moving near Crossville. It's going to be crossing over towards just north of Fayette here pretty soon. So that's why we've extended that severe thunderstorm warning for really the northern half of Fayette County. That does include downtown Fayette. And then, of course, with this storm, we're also watching the possibility of some strong straight line winds. And you need to take those seriously as well, because straight line winds can cause damage as well. Now, I wanted to kind of take you down to where some of the the indication of some of that larger hail is just near Mount Vernon right now. So all those pinks and where you're starting to see that gray color show up, that's indicating that hail is likely over 1 inch falling in northwestern Fayette County. This severe thunderstorm warning is going to last until 7:30. At this point, we don't have any indication of rotation with this thunderstorm, but you know, you can get a lot of damage from hail and also from wind, and we want you to take this severe thunderstorm seriously. Obviously, if it is hailing, you should not be outside. Those are falling very quickly, those large hailstones, and those of course can harm you if you are outside in that, so make sure you're staying inside, stay away from your windows, because the wind-blown hail could also cause some damage as well. Now at this point, do you have some new information for us?
Yeah. Again, a lot of businesses in Winfield have suffered structural damage. We understand that some people are trapped in a few buildings and trapped in cars. Again, I'm hesitant to start naming off specific names of businesses, but again, the damage is very significant. And again, as soon as I get some images, I can actually show you here. But Taylor, that's what it looked like when it came through Winfield.
Yes.
And again, that's a very well-defined hook echo. I'm hoping that people heard the warning. There was an excellent warning issued by the Weather Service in Birmingham a good 15 minutes before it got there, and that's a pretty good lead time for a tornado in a system like this. But again, that is a tornado warning. That's what it looked like coming through Winfield. And again, we do have people that are trapped in some buildings and trapped in some vehicles as well in the community of Winfield in southern Marion County. So if you're just joining us, and in fact, I'll step out. You can kind of pop me back in the key wall here, Dennis. Thank you. This is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for northern Fayette County. And again, we've got most likely really large hail falling about 8 miles northwest of downtown Fayette. That could come right on top of Hubbardville or maybe just south of there. So again, just be aware that that's some really, really large hail. That is a pretty amazing hail core right there. That's very large hail, an intense updraft just north of Mount Vernon. This is Alabama Highway 18 that goes from Fayette back over to Vernon. That hail is just north of Mount Vernon. And again, that'll be crossing Highway 43. So there's no tornado warning here, no evidence of a tornado. But the issue, it's large hail with this particular warning we have in effect here. And again, as Taylor talked about, the tornado signature, the storm that went through Winfield, the tornado is dissipated. So we have no tornado warnings in effect now for the entire state. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for southern Lamar and for, you can see about the northern half of Fayette County. This does include the city of Fayette, but again, that hail shaft most likely is going to stay just north of Fayette by maybe 5, 6, 7, or 8 miles. And it'll be crossing US 43 and then Alabama Highway 13 near Fowler's Crossroads. And again, that's a hail core. We're not looking at a tornado here. This is large hail. And again, the risk has ended up here for Marion County in terms of the severe weather threat. It's pretty much over for you now that this line is down to the south. Again, it's pouring rain. And again, just a refresher course here on the situation. In terms of the severe criteria, that's 58-mile-per-hour winds or 1-inch hail. Now, that could be thundering and lightning and the weather's horrible, but that doesn't necessarily mean a storm is severe. You've got to have 58-mile-per-hour winds or 1-inch hail. And again, that's what we're watching for this. And the storms are under severe limits right now in Winston County, in western Walker. But that storm you see northwest of Fayette, most likely large hail is falling. Taylor, so back to you for just a minute.
Yeah, and this hail could be up to 1.5 inches. So with this severe thunderstorm warning, the National Weather Service is indicating that hail could be 1.5 inches. So that is very large hail. That's large enough to cause some damage. So we want you to take this seriously. Winds over 60 miles per hour possible as well. And this severe thunderstorm warning is going to last through 7:45. Worth noting, I know that we still have the box on here, but this part of Lamar County, this severe thunderstorm warning was expired. So you're no longer under a severe thunderstorm warning. I know it's loud. You're here in the rain. You've got some wind, but technically your storm is below those severe limits at this point. So that includes locations like Vernon, Kingville. It's now this storm here that's in Fayette that we are watching, and that hail core, like James mentioned, is just to the northwest of downtown Fayette. It's really at this point just northeast of Mount Vernon, and it's headed towards Hubbardsville and Fowler's Crossroads here pretty soon. And I'm circling here. This is not rotation that I'm circling. This is going to be that intense hail core with the bright pinks, the grays. That is where the radar is picking up on really, really high values that indicate likely some very large hail in the atmosphere that is going to be dropping out of this storm as it keeps moving eastward. So I'm going to draw on here the projected path for this system, and it's going to be moving over 43 here pretty soon. I want to figure out here the motion of this so I can actually give you a storm track. So similar to the other storm we were tracking, this is moving east at 45 miles per hour. And I want to point out that 1.5 inches is ping pong size hail. So we are talking about ping pong ball size hail with this system. Let's zoom you out here, and I will pull a track from really the worst of the hail core. Now, some of the locations that are going to be in this track, it's already raining at your location, it's already windy at your location, but I'm pulling this track here from where we have some of the largest hail, east at 45 miles per hour. There we go. And that would put this system near Hubbardsville at 721, near Fowler's Crossroads at 726, near Howard at 735, and then if this storm holds together near the Kansas community at 738. So, of course,
Let's take WEX 05 real quick if we can. So a lot of people have sent this photograph to me. I can't confirm the original photographer to give credit, but I do believe that is a valid photograph of what it looks like in downtown Winfield. And again, you can see obviously there's a lot of structural damage, and I do believe that there is a credible report of people trapped inside the Winfield pizza bar because of structural damage. That doesn't mean anybody is injured, but again, reports of people trapped inside the Winfield pizza bar from structural damage. And again, I want to stress what you're seeing here. I've heard of no injuries so far. There could be, but I've not heard of any, and we hope it stays that way. And we just don't know that much about what's happened up there. But again, as soon as our folks are up there and it's safe for them to get the live video back, we'll do that. But again, that's what it looks like in downtown Winfield as we speak. So Taylor, back to you, and I'll pick it up here in just a second.
Okay, sounds good. So let's talk more about, we have one severe thunderstorm warning that's active for Alabama. I'm going to kind of zoom you out, give you a big picture. So that storm that James is talking about, that tornado warning we had is no longer active. We have no tornado warnings across Alabama at this point. We have one active severe thunderstorm warning that does include portions of Fayette. You're seeing parts of Lamar County included in a severe thunderstorm warning, but that has been expired. So the worst of that storm has moved out of your location. And at this point, we've got this line of storms that is moving into northwest Alabama. It stretches from Huntsville to Hartselle over towards downtown Fayette and then back towards Columbus in Mississippi. And a couple of storms starting to develop just south of the line, right across the border from Pickens County. We'll be watching that storm very carefully. You can see quite a bit of lightning with that, and we'll be watching every storm very carefully. But at this point, we have no tornado warnings. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Fayette. And the reason for this severe thunderstorm warning is because we do have some winds over 60 miles per hour possible, so some damaging straight line winds are possible. And then also this very, very large hail core. Now, it's not often that you do start to see these grays and these blacks show up here in the reflectivity value. So that's indicating to us that there is likely some very large hail at this system, 1.5 inches or greater. And it's moving pretty much due east at about 45 miles per hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a storm track on this and show you where the hail core is headed. Now, I know some of the locations that are going to be in this are already seeing some heavy rain, some wind. I'm tracking this from when the hail would show up at your location if the system holds together. So headed in the general direction of northwest Walker County. So we'll see if this is extended into northwest Walker County. But right now, this hail core is likely going to pass very close to Hubbardsville, to the southern edge of Hubbardsville, and then eventually towards Fowler's Crossroads. And if it holds together, this could bring this system that would drop some large hail over I-22 in northwest Walker County here with within the next half hour or so. But at this point, that is the only severe thunderstorm warning that we have in our area, but still showing a pretty good indication of that large hail coming out of that system. And when we talk about severe thunderstorm warnings, we want you to take them seriously because winds over 60 miles per hour and then also hail that is 1.5 inches or greater in diameter. When that wind's blowing that hail, that can cause damage as well. So we need you to stay away from those windows. Make sure you're inside. You're putting walls between you and the windows because it won't take much to blow a large hailstone that could cause some damage. So we want you to almost treat this like you would a tornado warning just because we do have that large hail possible.
All right, Taylor, it's 7:13. Let me just say we do not have any active tornado warnings right now. And typically we do not stay on the air unless we have an active tornado warning. So we're going to keep it here for just a little bit, but we are going to go back to primetime programming here in just a second. Again, we apologize you couldn't watch some programs tonight, but listen, Winfield took a direct hit here from a tornado during Wheel of Fortune. And if we weren't on the air telling people about it, there might be some real problems there. So just understand that was an important segment we did. And again, I'm sorry you couldn't watch it, but I promise Wheel of Fortune should be here tomorrow night. But again, we've got basically one warning in the state, and that's the one Taylor's talking about up here in Fayette County. That's a severe thunderstorm warning. The storms to the north are under severe limits. Winston County, in fact, here's a new warning. This is for northern Walker and southern Winston County. And again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. This is not a tornado warning. The issue here, it's straight line winds and large hail. So again, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for parts of Walker and Winston counties until 7:45. This is for northern Walker. This would include places like Curry, Arley, this western and southern part of Smith Lake right in through here. And again, it's mainly for the possibility of large hail right in here that's going to be moving east. Most likely that hail core will stay a little north of Jasper, but keep in mind that hail core might come right on top of Jasper later. So possibilities of large hail here, and that's just that's Toyota-sized hail there. That thing is huge. It just crossed Highway 43, and again, that'll be coming across Alabama Highway 13 over here near Fowler's Crossroads here pretty soon. So just be aware that is a very large hail shaft right there that's coming through northern Fayette County. This could damage cars. This could damage roofs. The reflectivity's come down a little bit on that last volume scan, but again, there's no doubt some large hail is falling in through here. So the dual concern with these severe thunderstorm warnings, the possibility of large hail and strong straight line winds. There's no evidence of a tornado at this point. So again, I'm just looking at some of the reports coming out of Winfield indicating that there's clearly been a lot of damage there, and it becomes a bit of a challenge for us in that we don't want to report something we don't have confirmed. None of us are journalists. Taylor and I, we're physical science people, but we understand some basics of journalism, and we don't want to just report things that people just say. We want to get the stuff confirmed, but I can tell you that downtown Winfield was hit by a tornado. Businesses have been hit. There have been some people trapped in cars and in businesses in Winfield. We have heard of nobody injured so far. And beyond that, we just don't know a lot right now. And again, as soon as we are able to pass along more detailed information, we can do that. We're going to go back to WEX 05 real quick. And again, this is one photograph. And so many people have sent me this image, but the report is from STAS, who was apparently up in that area. He's a chaser. And again, that's what it looks like in Winfield right now, a part of downtown Winfield. So again, as soon as we get our folks up there, in fact, let's go back to the radar really quickly, and I think got a couple of images coming in want to show. And again, we're going to hold it here for just a minute. Again, I know typically we don't stay on the air without a tornado warning, but based on the fact that we've got so much damage in Winfield, we'll keep it here for just a few more minutes. So again, if you're just joining us, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is for northern Greene in extreme southern Pickens County. This is for the possibility, again, of large hail, not for a tornado, but large hail. And again, the polygon, it basically touches Utah. This is for the northern half of Greene County and extreme northern Sumter County. This would include Geiger. That's in northern Sumter County and extreme southern Pickens. This is the Sipsey River right here. Benevolis, it's right here. So extreme southern Pickens, northern Greene. And this is for the possibility not of a tornado, but of large hail. We can track that just like we can track tornadoes. So just understand that if you are in northern Greene or northern Sumter, just be aware that you might have to deal with some large hail. You might want to get your car in a carport or some type of garage or so that it wouldn't be damaged, because you don't want your car out when you've got large hail chunks falling. That can ruin those things very quickly. So the latest severe thunderstorm warning is in effect now for parts of northern Greene, extreme southern Pickens County. In West Alabama, in northern Sumter County as well. That is in effect until 8:15. And also we should mention that there is some broad rotation within this cell. Okay, and I've also got to tell you that this is Tuscaloosa right here. And again, we've talked about this. We've got 15,000 people in Cullman Coliseum watching a basketball game. Alabama hosting Tennessee tonight. And we're going to have to watch this thing really carefully because the trajectory of that storm would take it near the city of Tuscaloosa. And again, right now it's across the state line. This is a mesoscale, it's a mesocyclone. We don't expect a tornado on the ground based on the radar signature at this point. That's a pretty broad circulation, but based on the conditions we have, keep in mind we had low 80s in here today. The atmosphere is very unstable. That might try and become better organized. So for now, the main threat is large hail, but understand that there is some broad rotation within that storm that's about to cross over into northern Sumter. This is Sumter County right here. That's Alabama Highway 17. This is Sumter, this is Pickens, and this is Greene right here. This is the Tombigbee right here, and that's the Sipsey River. And so again, we'll be watching that storm carefully. So let's go back to a big picture, and we'll try and just give you some ideas of what's going to happen tonight. So first off, no tornado warnings. Got a line of storms now from Huntsville down to about West Point, the northern part of Smith Lake, Eldridge, just north of Fayette, not too far from Berry, then down into about Millport. We got a couple of areas of large hail possible here. That's this line of storms, and again, that's going to be scooting across the northern part of the state. There is an isolated storm, as you can see down here near the Alabama-Mississippi state line, and that's going to be crossing over into West Alabama, and that's got some circulation with it. Any of these rogue cells that form south of that line, we'll have to watch those carefully, and again, most likely it will move in this direction, so it could be very close to the city of Tuscaloosa, maybe a bit south of there. And I'm not saying we're going to have a tornado warning here, but I'm saying it's not out of the question to have a tornado warning in a night like tonight. So again, we've got the possibility of large hail falling over northern Greene, northern Sumter, extreme southern Pickens with that cell. And if it holds together, it could wind up in Tuscaloosa County. Now for Birmingham, the greater Birmingham metro here, the worst of the weather most likely comes after 8:30 tonight, 8:30 beyond. Anniston, Gadsden is going to be after 9 o'clock. Anniston probably after 10 or 11 o'clock for you. This line not moving especially quickly. And again, with time, the air becomes a bit more stable. And there's not a tremendous amount of dynamic forcing. We've talked about this a lot today. This is not your classic severe weather setup. You don't have a really deep surface low north and west of the state. You don't have this big negative tilt upper trough with screaming winds aloft to drive the upward velocity of the atmosphere. It's more subtle. But yet sometimes with subtle features you can have problems. And again, based on the shear in place and the instability in place, we've got some problems. Obviously a tornado has come through Winfield tonight. And again, it has produced damage, and it has produced a lot of problems there. And again, as soon as we get additional information on that, we'll pass that along. But again, so for Birmingham after 8:30, Gadsden probably after 9, Anniston probably after 10, the worst of the weather. And even within that line, there could be an isolated tornado. The greatest chance of a tornado most likely would be with any of these rogue cells that form down here to the south. So at 7:22, what we're going to do is hold it here for about 8 minutes. And if we don't have a tornado warning by 7:30, we'll go back to regular programming. I don't want to sit here and just be yakking away and cut off programming. We don't like to do that. That's not why we're here. We're here to be here when the weather is extremely dangerous and life-threatening. And at the moment, the main concern is hail and strong winds. So let's take a quick tour, Taylor, of the storms we have in progress up here in northwest Alabama. We have one severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for northern Walker and southern Winston counties. This is for a storm coming into Smith Lake. Arley is here. This is Addison. The main concern here coming from large hail and strong straight line winds. That'll be passing north of Jasper down here toward Curry. We've also got a severe thunderstorm warning for the northern part, the northeastern part of Fayette County as well. Here's a storm track on the segment you see there in northern Walker and southern Winston. Those are some of the approximate arrival times when you might expect the heaviest rain and the greatest potential for large hail. Maybe not exactly at those times, but that'll give you an approximate idea. So the other storm down here is this one, and again, that's just really, that's an impressive core right here, and that's about to cross Alabama Highway 13. I wouldn't want to be driving up 13 north of Fayette or north of Bankston because it's basically on top of the highway right now. And then that's going to be crossing over ultimately into Walker County, and the Weather Service will probably have to reissue a warning for Walker, a severe thunderstorm warning, not for a tornado, but for large hail, and that could affect Jasper. In fact, if we can punch up that Jasper Skycam real quick, Taylor, it would be interesting to see the lightning display north and west of the city. And again, we're not looking for a tornado at this point, but if we can, take the Skycam network and we'll show you what it looks like from downtown Jasper. Jasper is located right here, looking back into the storms. So if we can take this, we don't have the sky. Okay, we don't have it. Apparently it's down. Sometimes that happens when stuff's going on here. So we'll just hold that, but thanks. But again, this hail core could wind up affecting Jasper later this evening, even though this current warning is for the storms north of Jasper. The storms coming into Jasper and Fayette County might require another severe thunderstorm warning. And again, we stress these are not tornado warnings. Another report, we've got report now of trees down in the north end of the county around Beaverton. That is the same tornado that hit Winfield. And again, that happened earlier tonight. So again, we're going to have a tornado that was down from northern Lamar into southern Marion. From near the Beaverton community over here, right back over to Winfield, right in through here. That's the approximate path of the tornado we had earlier tonight. Yeah, I got some more images coming in. So if we can go to WEX 05. So again, this is some of the damage that we're seeing right now, Taylor. And again, that is downtown Winfield. And obviously, it's not looking good. There's been a lot of damage in downtown Winfield. And let me just stress, I want to make this perfectly clear. We've heard of nobody being injured. And I hope it stays that way. Obviously, in a phase like this, there's just some things that we don't know. But again, there's clearly been damage in Winfield. And again, this is more of what we've been seeing up and through there this evening. And again, as soon as we get good, credible information, we'll pass that along. This photograph is from Katie Handley, and she was pretty much, according to this note, in the middle of it. And we hope that she was not injured. The tornado warning was in effect about 15 minutes before the tornado arrived in downtown Winfield. And this is why we encourage everybody, you've got to be able to hear these warnings. And we hope people heard the warning and got into a safe place, and we didn't have any more injuries here. So this is our storm that's in northern Sumter County. Again, this is Sumter County right here. This is Pickens. This is Greene. And this storm could produce large hail and strong winds. That'll be coming through northern Greene County. And again, Utah is the county seat of Greene County, which is right here. Let's look at the velocity just real quickly on this storm. And this is one of these storms that is a pretty good distance away from the various radars. And you can see evidence of broad rotation here. This is clearly a mesocyclone that's aloft. We don't believe there's a tornado down at this point, but we got to watch that because if that circulation tightens up, it could require a tornado warning later. And again, this core circulation is going to be cutting across northern Sumter. This is Alabama Highway 17. That's that main north-south highway on the far western side of the state. The community of Geiger sits here. Next, it'll be crossing the Tom Bigby, which is right here, the Tom Bigby River, into Greene County, northern Greene. And from there, it will continue through northern Greene, possibly reaching Tuscaloosa. My hand right here is on the southwestern corner of Tuscaloosa County. This is Ralph right here. Romulus is right here. Sipsey Valley High School is right here, and the city of Tuscaloosa is right here. And again, we've got a jam-packed Cullman Coliseum. In fact, I might be interested to look at the Tuscaloosa, the DCH camera, to look down on the Coliseum down there, just to look at the parking lot to see how many people are there. I would imagine it's packed tonight. That's a Southeastern Conference game. It's an important game. Yeah, there's the Coliseum right there. We'll zoom into it. A little tighter and over to the right. Yeah, it's jam-packed. That's a live look at Cullman Coliseum on the campus of the University of Alabama. Look at the numbers, by the way. Look at the temperature, 76 with a dew point of 65 here on the 29th of December. If you're in the weather business, that'll make you slap your mama. You don't want to see that with an approaching storm system like we have. Even though it's not a classic severe weather setup, that's just not good. So again, that is one of the concerns we have tonight. So let's go back to the radar. I just wanted you to know that. And if you're, and one thing about the University of Alabama, they have a very good emergency management department agency there. And they're well aware of this. They're aware of the crowd there, and they've got plans. They're very good at football games. I do weather support for the football games down here, and I would imagine they've got a good plan for the basketball game tonight. This is nothing new to them. We've been talking about the severe weather potential here for days. So again, we're here. We're going to hold it here for just a little bit. I know we're coming up on 7:30. We're going to keep it here to watch that storm. This is a storm that is in northern Sumter that is broadly rotating, not tornadic at this point, but that's going to be crossing out of northern Sumter into Greene and possibly into Tuscaloosa counties here soon. So we're just going to hang in here like a rusty fish hook for a little bit. Let's go up north. We'll check the other storms really quickly. And again, if you're in parts of Winston or Walker counties, weather's not good. It's pretty rough. And again, you can see this is Jasper. And we got potential for large hail and strong winds on top of Smith Lake right now. This is Crane Hill. This is on the Cullman County side. That's Arley on the Winston County side of the lake. This is the Walker County side down here. The Smith Lake Dam is about right there. And again, we could see large hail and strong winds coming through Smith Lake. We've got the possibility of large hail here that's about to come into the western part of Walker County as well. So again, understand it's pretty rough here, but we have no tornado signatures here, none. This is straight line wind and large hail. So again, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for parts of Winston and Walker counties, and also for eastern parts of Fayette County for the possibility of large hail as these storms pass through. And again, if you're watching us this evening, we are going to keep it here for just a little bit. We often go back to regular programming when we lose all the tornado warnings, but I want to keep it here just in the event this thing southwest of Tuscaloosa goes tornadic. And this is for our friends in northern Greene and, of course, here in Tuscaloosa counties. We're going to stay with this for just a little bit. This is detached from that organized line of storms, and sometimes these more discrete cells, they're not competing for moisture and inflow with other storms, and they can create a life of their own, and they can be very problematic here. So this thing right now, not tornadic, want to stress that, but a severe thunderstorm with the potential for large hail and strong winds that is in extreme northern Sumter in the far southwestern corner of Pickens County. Again, this is the Tom Bigby right here, Pickensville, running down to near Bolagie. And that storm is going to be passing north of Utah. This is Utah down here. Utah now is technically a little out of the polygon. The polygon was shifted north just a little bit to reflect that. But again, we have broad circulation in through here. And if that tightens up, then we're going to have to, see if the Weather Service issues a tornado warning for this. And based on its current motion, this will probably affect the southern part of Tuscaloosa County. This could easily go south of the city of Tuscaloosa, probably will. And that's the best case scenario for the population center here. But you know what? If you don't live in a city, so what? Every life is precious. I don't care where you live. If you live in northern Greene or northern Hale or in the city of Tuscaloosa, it doesn't matter. Every life is important, and which is why we've always had the policy here of being on TV for every county in the market, whether it's a city county or a rural county. It really doesn't matter to us. So we're here for a few more moments for a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Walker, Winston counties, and for parts of Greene, Pickens, and Sumter counties. This is the Greene, Pickens, Sumter County storm we're watching right here. And the main concern is large hail in And again, let me just make one, coming from our newsroom, this is good news concerning Winfield. Marion County EMA confirms the tornado damage we've talked about. We all know there's been a lot of damage in Winfield, but no reports of injuries. That's great news, which again is a sign that the warning system works. You had 15 minutes lead time. A warning was issued. People heard the warning. They responded. So despite the damage, we've heard of no injuries so far. Hope it stays that way, but that's coming from Marion County EMA. But the EMA, they are asking for people to stay away so that they can clean things up and try and get the streets clear. You don't need some boneheads, looking around and, just getting in the way right now. So if you don't have to be there, don't go there. That's a request from the Marion County EMA. And again, watching, and here's some more good news. We talked about the people that were trapped in the pizza bar in Winfield. When the roof collapsed. There were 8 people inside. Nobody was hurt. That's great news. So again, there were 8 people trapped inside Winfield's pizza bar. The roof collapsed, no injuries. That's great news. So again, the best news we have to report is the fact that we had no injuries in a tornado that came right through downtown Winfield earlier this evening. Very impressive signature on radar. There was a good warning for that. And again, that's the way the system should work. So now we're kind of watching this storm that is in northern Sumter with broad rotation. Again, at this point, there's no evidence of any tight circulation right here. And that's about to cross the Tombigbee from Sumter into Greene counties. This will be passing north of the city of Utah. This is Utah. That's Bolagie. That's Epps down on the Tombigbee. And that will be cutting across places like Union, West Greene. These are communities in the northern part of Greene County. And if it continues moving almost due east, this might be closer to Moundville instead of Tuscaloosa. Moundville sits on the Hale-Tuscaloosa County line just inside of Hale County. And again, I want to stress there is no tornado here. None. That's the reason there's no tornado warning. The concern right now, it's strong straight line winds in Hale. We've been watching this for quite a while, and there's been no change in circulation. Let's go back to our velocity display. And again, you see it's just really broad at this point. And I think that's a good sign. Often you watch this for 10, 15 minutes, and the atmosphere talks to you. And I think it's telling us that it's in an environment where perhaps the tornado threat is not quite as high here as it was earlier to the north, closer to a surface boundary. You need the winds back. You need southeast winds at the surface, west winds aloft, something to get those winds veered back in the low levels. And we really don't have that mechanism down here. So again, it's really trying to spin something up here, but so far it's not been able to do that. Unless it encounters some type of boundary, perhaps it won't do that. And hopefully we'll get away with no warnings, no more tornado warnings for tonight. That's a distinct possibility. We do have rain showers across the Birmingham metro. These are not severe. Some spots getting heavy amounts of rain on the western side of town. But let's go back up to the warnings up here. And again, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for southern Cullman County. And again, it's for this cluster coming that's out of Smith Lake. Right now, that nasty storm is on top of Smith Lake. And again, the concern here, it's large hail and strong winds. And that'll be cutting across the southern part of Cullman County. This is downtown Cullman right here. So this is south of the city of Cullman. And again, the concern, large hail, strong straight line winds, Bremen, Wilburn, Bug Tussle, Arkadelphia, places like that. And that'll keep on moving to the east. And again, these are the approximate arrival times. And it's going to be pretty nasty when the things come through here, but there's absolutely no sign of any tornado activity at this point. So again, we want to stress, even though we are on the air and we are wall to wall, we have no active tornado warnings in the state. If we can, I want to show the tornado watch really quickly, Taylor, because a lot of the counties have been cleared out of this thing. I want to just kind of show you where the counties have been cleared. We've got Limestone, Lawrence, Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin, the northwestern corner of the state. Severe weather risk is over. And I think the Weather Service can soon take out, not Winston, but Marion County. Your risk of severe weather is pretty much over. And again, Winfield sits right here. That's where the tornado damage was tonight, but the storms are now south and east of there, pretty much over for Marion County. But it continues for the counties you see here highlighted. Northeast Alabama, down into parts of west central Alabama. And the polygons you see here, those are all severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. This is for southern Cullman. This is for northeastern Walker, southeastern Winston, and down in west Alabama for parts of extreme northern Sumter, northern Greene, far, far southern Pickens County. So that's the current watch warning situation. So let's go back to the radar. And again, no tornado warnings at this point. Line of storms now from just south of Huntsville across the Tennessee River, north of Cullman around Vinemont, then curving down right on top of Smith Lake, down toward Curry, Carbon Hill, Fayette, back toward Millport. Within that line, gusty winds, maybe some hail. The greatest chance of large hail is right here where the severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect, basically on top of Smith Lake, coming out of there into southern Cullman County. The warnings, these are severe thunderstorm warnings, and again, the city of Cullman not involved. And again, we've got this isolated storm down here that's in West Alabama that's crossing the mighty Tombigbee River, the historic White Bluffs. And again, that's, let's take a look at the velocity, and it's still really broad. So we've been watching this for almost 30 minutes with no sign of a tornado. So I think it's almost safe to go back to our regular programming here. We will be back at the top of the hour at 8 with more on this. But again, for the moment, I think it's safe to go back. We'll watch these like a hawk. And before we go back, just want to check really quickly and see if we, and again, I want to summarize the reports we have from Winfield. Winfield was hit by a tornado this evening about 6:45. Nobody has been injured. That's the greatest news of all. Okay, and yeah, this is one of our reporters that's on the way to Winfield. Again, do you know where they are, Dennis? You can see the lightning off in the distance. You have an approximate location? And I should be able to. Okay, yeah, they're still a good ways out. You can see the lightning off in the distance from the line of storms. But again, soon we're going to have a crew that's in Winfield, and we can give you live images. And certainly tonight on the news at 10, we'll have a detailed report on exactly what happened. But again, 8 people were briefly trapped inside the pizza bar in Winfield. I haven't been to the pizza bar. Have you, Taylor, in Winfield?
I have not.
Have you ever been to the Boar's Butt in Winfield?
No.
It's not open anymore. That was a classic. But Winfield is a lovely city. I've been there so many times. But in the pizza bar, 8 people were there. They were trapped inside temporarily, but they were not hurt, and they're fine. No injuries in Winfield. There is damage downtown. And again, one more time, let's take this image if we can over in WEX 05. Again, this is some of the damage. You can see the traffic lights. This is right in the middle of downtown Winfield. And it's a mess. And of course, at first light of day tomorrow, we'll have a much better idea. But the best news of all is the fact that we've had absolutely no injuries there. So back to the radar one more time, and we're going to get you back to programming here because we've been watching these with eagle eyes, and we see no evidence of a tornado. Again, strong storms in Cullman County. Heaviest storm of all is sitting on top of Smith Lake, right in the middle of Smith Lake. And that's going to be scooting across southern Cullman County, Bug Tussle, Arkadelphia, Bremen, Brushy Pond, coming out toward Hanceville and Garden City. And if you're in the southern part of Cullman County, Colony, places like that, you're going to have strong winds, straight line winds, and some possibly large hail. The hail cores have come down a little bit. The storms have weakened a little bit in terms of hail, but there still could be some fairly sizable hail in the storm. And that'll be coming across southern Cullman County. At Jasper, pretty same thing. You're not in a warning right now. And again, the good news, the storms have weakened west of Jasper, so no warnings are being issued. And again, to be sure you understand the definition, a severe storm has to have 58 mile per hour winds or 1 inch diameter hail or larger. That's the definition. You have to work off a definition. And again, the Weather Service believes this storm complex on top of Smith Lake could meet that criteria. And that'll be scooting right across southern Cullman County, coming into Blunt, but there is absolutely no evidence of a tornado here at this point, which is great news. And again, one more time, we'll check in our storm, the little storm that's trying down here. This is crossing the Tombigbee into the northwestern part of Greene County. Large hail is likely in that storm, maybe strong winds. It's about to cross Highway 14. Highway 14 runs from Utah back up to Aliceville. Pleasant Ridge is right here. And again, within that line, you can see some pretty strong winds. And again, we'll see some of the approximate arrival times and communities here in the path of the storm, as you can see right there. Knoxville, which is an exit off Interstate 5920 around 8 o'clock. And if it hangs in there, it's going to be in Moundville and Hale County about 8:14 tonight. So that's the current ETA. Let's check the velocity one more time just to take a look at it. And again, it is just broad, really broad. No evidence of a tornado here. So at this point, Okay, and this is coming from Jasper, one of the cameras there in Jasper, just pouring rain. Obviously, thunder, lightning, but the storm in Jasper is not considered to be severe at this point. So it's 7:43. We're going to send you back to regular programming. We'll be back at the top of the hour at 8 with another update. We'll plan on updates at the top and bottom of the hour, 8 and 8:30, 9 and 9:30. Then, of course, at 10, we'll be back with a full newscast. And at that point, we'll have our crew in Winfield that will have video, images, and full details of exactly what happened with the tornado that came through Winfield about 6:45 this evening. And should a tornado warning be issued for anybody, we'll come right back on the air and stay on the air. But we've not had a tornado warning in a long time here, in about 45 minutes. And again, we're not here just to flap our gums. So we're going to go back to regular programming. We'll see you in 15 minutes at 8 o'clock. Don't miss it. I'm James Spann with Taylor Sarallo live in the ABC 3340 Weather Center.